Hey y'all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank. Today I'm joined by Squeaks. And we got Jonathan.
Hey y'all.
And if you still have speakers left, we're going to be talking today about Avengers Doomsday casting. We got that Andor trailer, the final trailer for them. We have some new casting for the Last Airbender movie coming up. And then we're going to be discussing this week the AI fake trailers that are flooding YouTube. Deadline wrote a whole article about that. We're going to be discussing about all that and debating that out. But I want to talk about what we had going on this week. So unfortunately, it was very last minute, but Prime reached out to us and asking us to throw the screener for the movie Holland, starring Nicole Kidman. And so we did. It was very last minute. My nerves were fried, but we had a lot of fun. And I want to thank everybody who came out there. What did you guys think about the screener?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It was awesome that we were able to, invite everybody and get more exposure for the show, for the movie. But I actually thought it was a pretty good movie too. Yeah. It was fun to go out and see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a blast at just being, with what you said, the number of 52 people coming to the screening and just, kind of like pre-gaming on top of like talking about the movie after the fact.
Yeah.
And it was a blast to be there and I enjoyed the movie myself. Yeah.
I loved it. And we had Sack Geeks come down. It was cool to meet them. I never met them in person. I've seen them at conventions, talked to them at conventions, but to actually have Frisco, the president of Sack Geek, come down. And then we had James from Distance Nerding come down and stuff like that. And then we also had a lot of friends and family come over and watch it. It was really cool to see everybody come. Mom came with a shirt with my face on it. So I was like, okay, great. That was fun.
I'm topping her next screening with the shirt on my face.
There we go.
Nice.
I'm gonna pull that thing out.
I forgot she had it. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was a blast. And so I just really want to thank everybody who came out for that. Such last minute. We do have a convention coming up, and I'll talk more about it at the end of this. On April 5th, if you guys want to come out, we have a big fat prize wheel that I'm like so proud of. It's my baby boy. We also have Switch for you to come out and play. We're going to be doing live podcasting. We got a ton of prizes. Come hang out with us and celebrate everything geek. That's in Rancho Cordova City Hall. And we'll be posting more information out on our social media. So please follow us there to follow along. Jonathan, you're going to be joining us with that. What are you hyped about, man?
I always like to see cosplay. That's usually the fun thing. Or the vendors that make unique items and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just the energy too. Everyone's always so excited to be at a convention, and you always see kids that are kind of shy, like, oh my God, I think they're recording a podcast, and they're like not sure if they want to walk up or something like that. And so we flag them down, give them some candy or stickers or something like that.
Yeah.
And people are always so excited to see we got a bunch of prizes. So it's like, yeah, come over, maybe talk on the mic for a second, spin the wheel, see what you get. It just makes it fun. So definitely like to be around people when they're having fun. And it's contagious.
It's gonna be a blast. Tyler we haven't seen him in so long. He's been he had a baby, and I guess it takes a lot of time. I'm not sure. That's to be
definitely for the wife.
But Tyler from Who's Got Next Game podcast is gonna come by.
Around.
He's gonna hop on a mic and talk with us again and talk about when the show's coming back and stuff like that. So that'll be a blast. All right, let's get into the news. We're gonna start off with that crazy Avengers Doomsday cast reveal. Now it was a 5-hour stream. Did either of you guys watch that stream live while it was happening? Bits or pieces of it. I'm not saying the whole 5 hours. I mean, nobody's dumb as me. Watched the full 5 hours.
Yeah. I think I maybe watched like 5 minutes and saw a name or two, and then that was it. Yeah, but then just the news was just flooding the phone.
Yeah, so every about 15 minutes it would play a little bit of music, and so there was excitement because you're trying to figure out, oh, what's that song from? Oh, it's the old 90s X-Men song, and then here come Patrick Stewart. That was really fun, and they broke a record for a live stream. Can you guess how many people watched that 5-hour live stream? Not necessarily all of it, but
oh goodness gracious.
Millions, right? Like 5 million?
Has to be right.
You have
18
you
million.
Had 18 million? Yeah, here's the number, 250 million.
Oh, jeez.
My gosh, wow.
That's crazy.
Insane. So at the time, I was like, I hate this stupid stunt because literally I'm like editing one of the videos about the stunt while the stunt's happening, and like had to do 2 parts for it and stuff like that. But let's go over some of the cast here. So we had all of the Fantastic Four, Pedro, Vanessa, Joseph, and Eben coming back. So that's the Fantastic Four there. But I think what was really a big surprise to me was the classic X-Men. So we have Patrick Stewart, so that's our Professor X, Ian McKellen, that's our Magneto, Rebecca Romaine, Mystique, and Kelsey Grammer, that's the Beast. We also have Cyclops coming back, and we have Alan coming back as Nightwing. No, Nightcrawler. Thank you.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
what do you
the
guys,
best Nightcrawler,
in my opinion, too.
I think that's awesome. I mean, we've seen the young generation of them in the other X-Men movies, but it just doesn't hit the same. And they're selling nostalgia. Sell it. Like, get us the original cast, right? Why not?
Yeah, it's almost like paying homage, right, to like what we grew up on, and then once we see like that, kind of like with Deadpool, right? When we saw Blade pop in there, Wesley Snipes, and we're like, oh my gosh, I grew up with that. So I think that's going to be like the excitement. We're going to get that same feel. I might be like jumping the gun a little bit, but some maybe questionings of these casting or not casting, right? Because we didn't see like a Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah.
we didn't see like a Tom Holland, like Brie Larson. What's going on with these stories?
Well,
that's kind of some interesting stuff. Like what are they doing when it comes to Dooms?
I'm so glad you bring that up because Spider-Man 4 will be taking place during Doomsday. So we're going to have Spider-Man, Tom Holland there. We might have a couple other characters pop up in that. But I love that because we see that all the time in comic books when it's like the Blood Hunt event is going on. Then we see or Venom War is going on. Then we see what's going on in other comics that haven't been going on during the Venom War and they all tie in. And I think that's what this is going to feel like. So maybe we're going to have this big adventure with the Avengers, right? Basically reassembling so that they could fight off Doomsday. And clearly other multiverses clashing together because we have the X-Men coming in and they're right now with, actually, she wasn't mentioned either, was she? Monica Rambeau, I don't think she was mentioned. So that's interesting. But we presume they're all going to be clashing together.
Oh.
But then we're going to see Spider-Man and he's like also fighting a Doom's attack or whatever in New York. And so they're all going to be combining in some sort of way. And maybe he'll get a little bit of the symbiote to try to like all of a sudden power it up and fight against, because Black Suit symbiote is from Secret Wars. So.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying more like side stories than we are continuations of things.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
And then one of the other things too is everybody's like, well, where's this person? Where's that person? This is not the end game. This is Infinity War. So end game, Secret Wars, I presume everybody's coming back. And I think that's where we're going to get every X-Men back. And I think that's where we're going to get first class X-Men back as well. Because, I mean, why not get those kids involved, whatever, with just a few bucks and you get a whole new generation in there too. We also have a lot of the Thunderbolts in here with, Florence Pugh and Wyatt Russell and all them. We have some of the classics coming back. Chris Hemsworth, Anthony Mackie, Paul Rudd, Letitia Wright. So we got Simu Lee coming back, guys. About damn time. Tom Hiddleston. So that means that Loki is back from the end of Loki season 2, which is absurd. And then, of course, RDJ is going to be back and he's playing Doom. So first off, I think this casting reveal, while I was upset with it at the time, it actually worked out quite well because I think the slow hype throughout the entire day was a smart move. The fact that we're getting like Shang-Chi back to me is a really big deal because I think Shang-Chi was almost forgotten and he shouldn't have been. I think that's one of the better movies from Phase 4.
Underappreciated for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first half.
Yeah. Well, either way, nevertheless, in comparison to a lot of the other Phase 4 movies, I would say it's...
No, yeah, I enjoyed it too. Yeah.
What are we wanting out of this movie? Are we wanting Doctor Doom to win?
Yeah, but are we going to copy? Okay, so I would, right? Because, oh man, I don't know. Because then would they be copying like the formula of like Thanos essentially? Hey,
I'm afraid of them getting too close to
the second one.
Yeah.
What do you think triggers the Secret War or Doom though?
Well, we have they normally have the Molecule Man. Like usually they'll be killing the Molecule Man and combining the universes. So they'll probably do the Anchor Being instead because they already established that with Deadpool and Wolverine. And I was like, why are you guys establishing this Loki thing in Deadpool and Wolverine? Oh, okay, because you guys are going to use it soon. So they're probably killing the Anchor Beings, right? Just combining universes that way. And I don't know. I actually think they might pull off the comic book line, the panel where Doom comes up to Thanos and rips his skeleton out of him. And like just shows how strong he is. What do you think? Is that even doable?
Yeah. That'd be pretty interesting to see Thanos back on the screen, right? And then just to kind of be like slapped around like that. I think though, do you think this will be the one off for Robert Downey Jr. Doom, and then maybe he dies in this one, but he like maybe leads this like future Doom that we're going to get in multiple movies? Because I hope we're not getting Doom in one movie, right?
That would be silly. Yeah, Doom is the Loki-esque type of villain you want around for a lot of other movies, and I think the Doom that we're going to get in Secret Wars is God Emperor Doom. So specific Doom, not necessarily the Doom that we'll be dealing with all the time. I think that would be best because then God Emperor Doom, sure, make it RDJ, that's fine. But then we need to have Cillian Murphy or somebody that's going to be around for a long time. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is good for that role to be around for too long.
No. I think that'd just be weird as a fan watching these movies like from so long, right? Yeah.
I also think that with the idea of killing Thanos off, like I get what that point of that was to show how strong Doom is, God Emperor Doom is, but in doing that, you would negate all the sacrifice that went on during Endgame, which was one of the better impactful moments. So then all of a sudden, like Loki's death and, RDJ's death, also like that to go into that Black Widow, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, he's not even that strong because there's somebody else stronger behind him.
Well, I mean, we kind of got a little bit of that anyway with the Loki series, right? Like just the gems or the stones sitting in a drawer. You're like, who cares? Then it's like, what?
Fair. And when, to clarify, when Doom did that to Thanos, specifically he calls out, do you have your gauntlet? And he says, no, but I don't need it. And then Doom's like, apparently you do. And ripped this skeleton out. So Fair enough. Yeah, I know that was a big sticking point for you on the Loki series.
Yeah, the whole series.
Is there any surprises that you're excited for the most out of this list of cast?
I'm excited to see Nightcrawler coming back. That's the only one that really like stood out to me. Original Nightcrawler.
For me, yeah, I agree with it. Like it's some of the older X-Men and not like some of the maybe even like I don't want to say better ones, but maybe the ones that like Michael Fassbender as Magneto was like, oh, he's fucking wonderful, you know. Like we're going with the old Mystique and not Jennifer Lawrence Mystique, but I know Jennifer Lawrence had like issues with that whole role anyway. Like she didn't want to wear all the makeup and stuff, and it's like okay, then you're just Jennifer Lawrence, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like okay, I can kind of get one of things, but get that. But yeah, I think big surprises for me is seeing old X-Men with new X-Men, which we kind of got, but on this larger scale, maybe you know, or more of them like the team coming together, I guess as way and one and not just like Wolverine with some of the newer ones, you know? No,
there's
like
a
younger
too.
Cyclops taking lead, maybe.
Well, and I do want to see a new generation of Cyclops, but I will say that there's been this thing where they're like, well, let's use this moment. Great example is when we saw Patrick Stewart, when we saw Professor X in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, he was in the yellow chair, right? So he wasn't the Professor X that we knew before. He was actually an animated series one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoil too much, guys. We had a leaked image already, and Cyclops is wearing the blue and yellows.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you would say. I just want like the original Cyclops to look at me like, you look kind of funny, but it's the blue and yellow. Like we love you. Like no, he doesn't. Okay, if you finally gave me Wolverine in yellow, you better put Cyclops in his OG outfit. You know,
and that leaked image, and I'm like, you know, with AI nowadays, you don't know, so I'm really kind of studying this thing, and it looks real because it's so shitty. So you know what it is like when they take a picture from 2 miles away. And he actually has like the yellow pockets on the actual belt across his chest and everything like that. The same exact thing. Sexy. And I was just like, yes, that's what I wanted, baby.
I have to use the restroom. Sorry.
With Alan Cumming playing Nightcrawler, I mean, let's be honest, he's an old man. I mean, that's a role where you need to be agile. So I have a feeling that they're going to use mocap on him and do kind of what they did with Beast at the end of the Marvels movie.
Oh, okay. So kind of just was still like wearing everything, but like more talking and standing instead of jumping around and everything.
Well, no, the Beast at the end of Marvels was Kelsey Grammer's Beast, but they captured his face and used fitter person to play Beast. CGI'd, right? Okay. And so I think they're gonna do that. It's gonna be like more CGI, but all mocap, so it'll look real, but it won't be that makeup that we literally saw in X2. Which that opening in X2 when he's like trying to kill the president was so cool. I hope that they kind of show some of that same combat again with him in here. I'm sure they will. He better be wielding a sword. I know that much.
They can use a stunt double, right, to do the more complicated stuff, and then use his acting for just conversations and stuff.
Yeah, but that mocap,
let's get away from CGI as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with like, I mean, how so sexy and advanced like the mocap has been, even with like Avatar. You know, it's like, oh my goodness gracious. So I could kind of see them just doing that instead of getting a second person.
Even the Thing, the new Fantastic Four, the Thing is gonna be mocap versus the other Thing, and I think it looks pretty solid. You know, especially when you see him like in the rain scene with the trench coat, I think that looks amazing. Yeah. I think that's the way we're going. We got our last trailer for Andor, which is coming out in April. We're going to go over the April watch list next week at the convention, guys, so join us there. But we have our last trailer for it. This trailer, to me, has the correct vibes. The last one had almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. This one doesn't. And hey, man, we're getting a lot of Rogue One in this. This is definitely leading up right to Rogue One. So I'm saving Rogue One. I've been wanting to watch it again, but I'm going to save it until after the end of Andor to be my cap off of it. What are some of your takes from this, Jonathan?
It's just like you're saying, it has the same vibes from the previous season, which I was hoping they weren't going to deviate from it too much. You know, like that first trailer was kind of misleading, which I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. That trailer looked like it was trying to be Guardians, but wasn't hitting it. So I'm like, oh, come on, you guys are going to start playing these classic songs. You got to hit the right soundtracks, not be, you know, off at all. And so I was worried that they were going to, you know, swing far and miss. But yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of action, drama, and suspense that we were used to, so I want more of the same stuff.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I think the visuals are unsung in Andor. I think a lot of people like they talk about how good the performances and stories are, but you forget how good the actual visuals are. This trailer definitely showed those off. Like the droids look top notch, the ships, all that stuff, definitely movie quality. And
we need a Star Wars MMORPG where you can live on Coruscant.
Yeah, well, we have one. It's just too damn old now at this point. Old Republic.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Okay. We need a good one.
Great.
Yeah, Coruscant looks so good in this movie. You're right. Coruscant looks beautiful in this movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we need more of these gritty stories. We talked about how there was a canceled gritty Star Wars movie pitched by George Lucas right before he sold the company. I hope they continue this after Andor. I hope Andor's not the end of this kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
I love how we don't need Jedi and Sith in everything.
Right.
Like this, there's such a bigger galaxy they've already built out. So much backstory we know, like we saw in the other series with the kids, Skeleton Crew, with the pirates and all that stuff. It's like, that's great. That's exactly what we asked for. Let's keep giving us some of this. And you can keep getting the mainstream movies coming out too with all the Jedis and stuff. But, build out the backstory of the rest of the galaxy as well. We'd love to see it.
Yeah. And building that galaxy, hopefully it just kind of leads into something massive where like it's kind of like the Civil War where like, okay, here's a band of pirates, but guess who's leading them? It's like Hondo, right?
Yeah.
It's like the most popular characters in these like different groups, and they're coming together. And that's what I would like to see though. But when you're talking about the greed of the trailer, like, the whole trailer seems so serious and like everything's at stake. One of my things that like I really enjoyed when I watched this trailer was like it almost looked like the construction of the Death Star, right? Yeah. And I was like, oh man, here we go, right? But in a sense of where I don't, maybe because it's been a while, or maybe we, kind of seen like bad series previously, but it's not where I didn't get that tiresome, of this because Andor, I really like the season 1. I'm looking forward to season 2, but I didn't feel fatigue of just getting the same shit over and over again.
Right.
So hopefully like that kind of that keeps my vibe up. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing just like the commitment of him, becoming this leader now and taking it more serious. And you see him like flying and stuff like that. Like, he seems like he's on that next chapter. So
more about the actual rebel and not about just survival. Because I think in the first season is more about him just surviving and starting to tiptoe into it. This one seems like he's actually leading a rebel cause. And then, talking about the Jedi aspect of Star Wars, would you guys be upset if they brought a Jedi into this? I think if done well, it's okay. But like one of the things with Skeleton Crew, there was one lightsaber, and because it was the only lightsaber, you felt the impact of it being on screen. It was like, oh no, is this going to be a dangerous thing? Yada, yada, yada. When normally like Acolyte, not to talk shit about Acolyte every day, but like there's so many lightsabers that it kind of negated their coolness. Do we want to see a Jedi pop up in Andor?
I think it'd be fine if they brought in a Jedi, but don't make him the star of the show. I think it'd be better if it was an apprentice who lost his master. His master died or something like that. And so now it's like, okay, I'm kind of rudderless. I need to find another purpose or somebody to follow or whatever.
That'd be cool.
And then he joins this ragtag group in the rebellion, and he's learning so much more than what, his master was very maybe, proper, but entitled and stuff like that. And now he's learning like what the day-to-day life of, the common people looks like and becoming made, more humble.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. I think I would like to see Jedis like sacrificing themselves, like maybe like one off, maybe it's someone that's been in that situation that lost maybe everything because of
Order 66
or the no order. And doesn't have nothing to kind of go for him anymore. And then he finds his purpose. But the next thing you know, you kind of like feel for him. And then next thing you know, he's helping someone that's going to lead to like his demise or whatever. That'd be kind of neat too. There's a lot of stories you can do. Like Jedis don't have to last forever in the Star Wars series.
They
like,
don't. And especially at this time, they're hunted down ruthlessly. Yeah. That's the entire Inquisitor's job. We do have Fallen Order, that story Fallen Order in the video games, which I think is spectacular, would fit so good in this. And if you're going to tease anybody, baby, give me a little teaser of him.
He wants it.
That's the Jedi I want. Fallen Order, though, coming out Fallen Order. Andor coming out on the 22nd. Looking forward to it. We got our Harry Potter expert here.
Right there. That was news right there. Fallen Order.
We have a Harry Potter expert. Are you excited for the Harry Potter series coming to HBO?
I'm kind of just so. And the reason is that we know that this series is going to be just a retelling of it, like in book form. So we'll get a little bit more, and then they'll obviously have more time to like show those things that weren't highlighted in the movies. But I kind of wish, like, why didn't you just give me like what they like? Basically, number 7.5 or 8 is cursed child. Harry has a kid, and they kind of move on afterwards. And I would love to see that more. That makes so much more
sense to me than retelling.
Why are we
the
getting
first
the
one?
same story? Yeah.
But these are really old movies now, right? I mean, they came out when we were young.
But they're so I feel like mainstream still. Like
we are sounding old, aren't we? Though
right?
You don't need to make new music. Just go listen to the Eagles.
Like our kids aren't going to watch the original ones and think they were good. It's going to be like watching
them. You're watching. They are.
I can't imagine like having kids and like sitting them down to watch Lord of the Rings and them saying like, oh, these movies look old. I would just have them go outside forever. You're not in this house anymore.
Shoot, but I think Nick Frost is a good pick though for Hagrid, right?
Yeah, he has the right vibe. He's lost a lot of weight lately, so I will say like, hey, baby, maybe go back and get some chicken or something like that. But
but you know what? Besides like some of his like greatest movies that he's done, obviously like Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead and World's End, but he was in one recent like British comedy horror that was pretty wild called Getaway, and he has the beard going on
Oh,
it.
really?
And I'm
Okay.
like, let's
Keep
put
it
the
going.
long hair on and let's
Yeah.
let's go. That's Hagrid right there. Shit.
He has a good
So-
look for it too. And this he's like a paranormal hunter in UK as well, where he's like a cable guy, but also hunting paranormal stuff. I'm like, okay, that's Hagrid. I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
I think this is a good role for him. I think he brings a levity too to Hagrid that's like charm, because well, I think Dumbledore shows that charm off, but he has to he hides it as much as he can, and he only shows it to, I feel like, Harry. Nobody else gets to see that charming side of him as much.
Yeah.
Hagrid's constantly that. He's like, all the kids can love him, and it makes Malfoy look like even more of a jerk because he's mean to Hagrid of all people.
Yeah.
And so you need to have somebody who's just like instantly lovable as soon as you meet him. That's Nick Frost right away. I think it's
Yeah.
perfect fit.
Man, I want to see
play
that
that
guy
fun
coming
uncle.
down on that motorcycle into the fucking Harry's front door. Drops. Oh God, give it to me.
Chris Child, though, right? That's the thing we needed.
Yeah, that's much rather have. So
Yeah.
who knows? Like, stop having it just be like solely on play Broadway, and bring that thing to the screen.
Is it enough for multiple movies or just one?
Oh, just one, but they're gonna make two.
They'll hobbit it up.
If the fucking play is an all day thing, but it is a part 1 and a part 2. You can either
Okay.
watch it all in one day or watch it in separate days.
Mm.
If they can make that, into like a parts, I'm sure Hollywood would be like, you know what, let's do that too. Let's add a third
Yeah.
part.
Oh,
So
they
even
hella would.
more.
I couldn't believe the Hobbit they split into 3 was insane. The last
Yeah.
Hunger Games book was definitely not needing to be 2 movies. They made it into
No.
2 movies. So
No.
yeah, who knows?
But that Hunger Games, I felt like it was the phase of like going through these parts, right? Like Harry Potter. Don't forget Twilight. Why did we need 2 Twilight movies at the end?
It's
Like
so
that was
not
the phase
needed.
I'm glad that hopefully we just are done with.
Oh, well, yeah, Wicked Part 2 coming out later this year.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
little more
damn.
warranted, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Stephen Ewan, who is just killing it as Invincible. Obviously, he's Glenn from Walking Dead. Just got
God.
announced for the new Avatar movie. This is coming out in 2026. It's going to be featuring Aang and his friends as adults. Jonathan, leaning in on you, who do you think Steven's playing?
That I have no idea, honestly. I was like, that's a good. I was actually just looking at the cast of it, 'cause I'm like trying to figure that out in my head. And we know Dave Bautista is going to be in there too, and it
He's the
also
villain.
doesn't have him credited yet. Yeah. I don't know. It's got to be a new character, right?
I don't think a new character. I think he's going to
No,
play
no.
Aang.
No,
You think so?
Aang's Eric Nam. He's already casted.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Toph, Aang, Zuko, Sokka, and Katara are all casted here, and then Steven and Dave Bautista are the 2 that
I see.
they don't have assigned characters for.
He's
It's-
so
it's
good
hard
as
to-
Invincible.
yeah.
I can't imagine them not making him a very big character.
And he has
Yeah.
a young voice, so it's hard because you're saying all these characters are already casted. So it's like, what else is? I'm trying to think of other characters in the show that are kind of young
Yeah.
that would stay
It's
for the
going to be when
series.
they're adults too, so it might be characters we haven't seen yet because it continues
is it?
after the show.
Oh,
so,
is it? Okay, okay,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
but
and
yeah,
he's-
he's killing it. Dude.
He
He's
is
everywhere
killing it.
lately.
And he played
Gosh.
Avatar 1, so he could be coming back as
Mhm.
Avatar 1 if that's a thing.
That's like 1,000 years in the past.
It is, but he came in Korra. Like they had the
Yeah.
flashback to him in Korra. We could do another flashback and kind of explain more of the Avatar state. And maybe we'll see the passing of Aang at this point. There's something that'll happen that'll show him dying at the end of this movie.
Maybe, but he grows pretty old. If this continues
Yeah.
just after Avatar, I mean, he has kids. He has 3 kids in Legend of Korra.
That's true. And by the image they gave us, I presume that he's just now having kids. We see that Toph is just now starting the police department that she runs.
Yeah.
And then Fire Lord, of course, we have Fire Lord Zuko. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. I'm excited to see more Avatar. Obviously, with Avatar Studios, we're getting a bunch of new Avatar stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
think if they're bringing in Steven here, they're not going to waste that talent. I think they're introducing a character that they'll use again in the future in some way. So that's why I'm hoping it is Avatar 1, because then maybe we'll get a huge prequel series that goes
Mhm.
way back with Steven running that whole thing and just talking about like the very first Avatar, figuring out what the Avatar state and Avatar role is would be
Mhm.
ideal for me. And then Jonathan, you got to watch Invincible still, man.
I know. I
Yeah.
haven't watched any of it
Yeah.
yet. There's a lot of stuff to watch. I finally caught up with Daredevil, like one thing at a time.
One thing at a time. Yeah. Last bit of news here. We have the Legend of Zelda live action film is set for 2027, March 26, 2027. So we know that they're wanting to make this more realistic and grounded than, say, normal video game adaptations like Super Mario movie or whatever. It's going to be live action. I'm hoping that they show the reset of time that's in the Link story, where like it's kind of like, different times always being resetting. And I'm hoping they nail Ganon. They said they're going to be gritty. Ganon needs to be so
Yeah.
fearsome.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Jack Black, please, dear God, don't cast Jack Black for that, because I have a feeling.
Oh my God, no.
I know,
no,
but don't you
no.
just feel it? Don't you just feel that they're going to cast Jack Black somewhere in this thing? It's like he's been in everything already. I know he wants to do something, so I'm hoping they don't mess with that.
You know, with how the director Wes Ball is like in love with the series and is truly a fan of the series, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's so accurate to. I mean, this is going to get a massive amount of criticism, right? If it not being live action or it not being, I'm sorry, like animated after the success of the Super Mario Brothers is crazy to me that we're going to go live action, potentially with the backing of also Sony. Like, man, like Nintendo better not fuck this up.
Sony and Universal will be involved too, because Universal has a lot of the rights to it.
Right, yeah.
And so I have a feeling that they're like, let's shoot for Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones stealth level.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, I don't think it could do as well with the animation style of Super Mario. I think if you're not going to do that, you have to go anime.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. What do we? Yeah. There's been hints of like I was looking up that God, who was wanting to play Princess? Was Hunter Schaffer?
No clue.
I don't know. It looks like Princess Zelda in a way because she, like facial features and all, but she hasn't really been in shit either though. Sorry, but she was in Blade Runner and she did voice acting for Belle, which is a great animated movie. Yeah. But I don't know like who. I mean, it's probably too much, but do we have a Dreamcast or anything?
We don't have a Dreamcast. We don't have a cast rumors yet. Now, my question, though, before we even get into that is, do you guys want no names or stars? Because if we're going with stars, then I'm saying throw Tom Holland in the Link costume.
Oh, God.
That would be good. That would sell. That's just money.
Maybe.
It doesn't even have to be good.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe no names.
I kind of want no names, though, because this is a good opportunity. I always think if you're going to have an IP movie that's going to get people to go watch this, I'm going to go watch this movie because it's Zelda. But then it's a good time to like invent new stars. We don't need to like rehash old stars for this type of thing, you know?
Or take some like C-level actors who've been in a couple things and then elevate them and this make this what they're really remembered for.
I could see that.
So,
I looked up Ganon because I don't remember what he looked like at all. But then looking at a picture of him, I was like, oh, as soon as I saw him, I envisioned who I think would play him well is the guy who played Thormund Giantsbane in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. With the big red beard and everything. He's like, oh man, he's just a beast of a man. Like that would be a great actor for that role.
I want Ian McShane for him. Just because of the way he speaks and stuff like that. And like the idea that like, now correct me if I'm wrong. I don't play a lot of Zelda games. I know of the games, stuff like that mostly. I usually get my ass handed to me. But Ganon is aware of the time loops, right? And not Zelda, Link, or anybody else. I think it's just Ganon that knows it.
Oh, goodness, I don't remember.
Please.
Yeah, I don't remember because I always feel, I don't know. Because I always feel like each game is obviously like different and it feels
it's
like
supposed to feel completely new. It's just that that they're just another loop in the time.
Oh shit, let's look that up.
While you're looking that up, how great would it be if even if it isn't the case, they just make it this way? Ian, somebody who really speaks well is your Ganon, who has the memories of multiple lifespans while everybody around him is keep getting refreshed. He would belittle everybody like they're children around him. And so he's like, Link again, I've killed you. This is the 480th time I've killed you. I'm getting tired of you. And then like this one Link shows him something different would be really cool. And I just want somebody who's a very good speaker. And I think Ian McShane just has that skill all the way through. And he's not in enough stuff, frankly.
Yeah. Honestly.
More things.
That David and Goliath, they only did one season of he was in. I was like, that was so good. Why not continue that? Or let's start it up again.
I had challenged Thomas to watch that, but then we changed it up to something else at the last minute. But one of these days I'll challenge him to watch it because it is surprisingly good and totally missed opportunity. It has Succession vibes. Everybody likes Succession. It's basically that with Ian. Yeah. What do we got, Squeaks?
Yeah, because there's been times where it's shown like Ocarina of Time. If you beat him, I guess it sends you back to a child timeline or adult timeline. So it seems like he is aware of some type of loop. But a lot of people are saying like kind of what I was saying, like each game's different and that's just like the closed thing. Okay. Could be though. That'd be fascinating. Man, where do you think they would go with that? You know, if that was something they would do, like do we? Yeah. Different characters, maybe different like in the games. Fuck it, you send them back into some time, and it's next thing you know, you're doing Skyward Sword instead of Breath of the Wild or something.
Some little thing is different. This one, he has like an animal spirit helping him out, or it's something a little. This time, Princess Zelda is not the helpless one; she's actually out there fighting on her own, and stuff like that.
Get like her as Sheik form or whatever. Right? Yeah.
So I would really like that idea of it being a different thing every time, but still make it like mature. Don't like make it a comedy. I know that almost leans itself into Groundhog's Day. Don't do that. But make it to where Link is trying to break this cycle and Ganon is one that's controlling the cycle or is at least aware of it and is taking advantage of it. I think that would be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Let us know who you guys think should be playing these characters. I don't cast Jack Black. I love him, but he's just going to be someone to laugh at. It's not good. Follow the clues wherever they take you. Holland, starring Nicole Kidman, is out now on Prime Video. In this wildly unpredictable thriller, Nicole Kidman is the meticulous Nancy Vandergroot, a teacher and a homemaker whose picture-perfect life with her community pillar husband, Matthew McFadden, and son, Jude Hill, in the tulip-filled Holland, Michigan, tumbles into a twisted tale. Nancy and her friendly colleague, Gael Garcia Bernal, become suspicious of a secret, only to discover nothing in their life is what it seems. Holland now out on Prime Video. Our discussion for this week is going to be all about the AI trailers that we see all the time. They fool us. I'll admit. I saw Lanterns one this week that got me a bit. I had to hop online real quick and confirm it. It was like, son of a bitch, those AI bastards. This is all because Deadline actually went out and found some of the people that were in India that run like Screen Culture, one of the biggest YouTube channels, find them and interview them. So a couple of the AI trailers that have fooled me in the past, like that one was a Lanterns one. There was a Superman one that went real viral that fooled me. Mm-hmm. Can you guys think of any trailers? Yeah. Is there any trailers that have fooled you?
I've sent them to you before, like that.
Iron Man 3
early
or 4.
Avatar one.
Avatar 4. Iron Man 4. You said that to me, and you were like, I can't believe it's happening. Like, John, we would know they're casting this bad one before they even released it.
Yeah.
Maybe they kept it under wraps.
I think one of the, maybe it's probably a popular one with, thousands of views is Braveheart 2. Has anyone seen the Braveheart 2 one?
No, I haven't seen the one yet.
Oh, my God. I'm just like, yeah, give me this. But then at a certain point, like, that looks kind of weird. And then, looking into it, it's whatever. But then the ones that really that gets me like a little bit until something is shown is like these like Superman 2 or 3 or whatever. You're like, what the hell? But then you see an old scene, you're like, f you, man.
Yeah.
I recognize that scene.
Well, in the Lancers one, the one that really tricked me is they used the image that they released of the two walking down the street, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Al and John, and they used AI to make that actually them walking. And so I was like, oh, that's actual footage because we already seen that picture. But no, they just used AI to make that thing walk. I'm like, that is scary good. Damn it.
Yeah.
The only thing that actually was like, oh, this is fake is at the end they had a part where the two were walking fully in lantern suits, and then Kyle Rayner joined them or whatever, and it was like he just looked off, and I was like, no, that's not. And then I confirmed it was all fake.
So you turned me on now.
These bastards, they got me good.
The one that with the Braveheart 2 one, they had Gerard Butler starring in it as well. I was like, oh, dude, stop talking dirty to me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, this is fake, but hey. Maybe hopefully to spark something. Can we get like Mel Gibson and Gerard Butler going at it together?
There we go. Yeah, Russell Crowe in there too. What the hell?
Yeah. So the big question is, are these a good thing or a bad thing? And I want to pitch you something.
Okay.
If I was really good with my words and I had a great idea of a new movie or series to make, and I could explain it to you in such detail you feel like you just watched the movie, would that be bad or good for the industry? I think it would be good because we're excited about something. We're building fan fiction in our own heads, and maybe we can't share it with the world, but we're getting excited about it. I think using AI to make this stuff, as long as they're not trying to, extort money out of people or, manipulate people or whatever, but it's just for fun, then I think it's totally good because it's us being able to see someone's creative idea of what they would hope is going to be made on the big screen. What do you guys think?
And if you're like pre-fruiting your stuff and it is like something original, then it's kind of like, why not? Because I see AI, and I've said it to Frank a couple times now, it's more like a stepping stone as long as they kind of get you off like to a start. Man, I'm gonna be a bad guy right now. Business side of things, like I get it though, like why it's being used. Like, like it sucks for like the people that are out there. I mean, it sucks when I used to always want to draw and I want to be a cartoon artist. Next thing you know, everything's computerized. I'm like, what the fuck? I have no talents now. Now I work at my job behind a desk. Like, what the fuck? No. But like it's just I get it, But
it's so tempting to do too. It's something you've always wanted to do. You can just type it out and all of a sudden it happens. Yeah, I get that.
Jonathan's writing a book. He's never written a book in his life, right? Now he's a number one selling author in New York, he did it in 15 minutes, like.
But also if it's too easy, then it won't hold a value in society.
True.
So it'll diminish the entire industry. So I think it's fun to do for just a fun thing. If you have an idea you want to get out there, it'd be great if we got in the habit of branding it as AI and false, that this isn't being an actual movie made, but it's a, fan concept. But, if we could establish that as a rule, that would help. But for us to understand, I mean, we can so far at least pick it up, pick out what's real and what's not. And then we can be like, oh, well, you know what? That's a really cool idea. And maybe the studios will see enough ideas from the fans that they get an idea of what we would like, as a general to help direct them on what they're going to make. But
right.
Yeah. So we don't want to flood the market and ruin the production process.
That's the thing is it's not so much about them making new ideas. They are seeing that a Superman movie is coming up and then they flood the market. So Screen Culture, for example, they went and interviewed this guy and they have come, it started off as like a fan idea. And if it's a fan idea, that's fine, but you have to label it as like fan made or AI trailer or something like that. Label it. In my opinion, these are all my opinions. This is a pet peeve of mine as somebody who tries to share stuff with you guys as fast as possible. So it started off as a one-man thing. Now it's an entire team and it's become a job, a business for them to try to trick people into watching their videos as much as possible. And sometimes their videos outperform those of the actual studios. So the Superman one, for example, had outperformed at first one of the Superman trailers. And so they were like, well, what the hell? You would assume the studios would be mad about this, but apparently there's something that Deadline had uncovered is the studios, instead of doing what they should be doing and say there's a copyright strike on it and having those things taken down, instead they're claiming ownership over them and getting paid for it too. And so it's like they're letting the AI stuff happen and getting paid for it. What are your thoughts on that? Is that good or bad?
It's kind of just like more of a marketing, right? Now we're talking about more of the Superman,
But it's misleading marketing. If I told you like, hey, Diet Coke tastes great, but then somebody else comes out and says Diet Coke will make you lose 50 pounds a day, and Coke doesn't do anything about it because they're like, you're still buying Diet Coke. Is Diet Coke responsible for that?
And Diet Coke is making more money because of that too, because of their lack of transparency.
But then they're on the other side like, we didn't tell you that. That was
right.
Fake.
That's the distance liability that they could have.
Yeah.
But it's still it's your brand. And you have not only the right but the responsibility to protect your brand because the trust that we have built up in you. I trust when I see DC that it's going to be to a degree of quality. And I know if it's fan made, it won't be, and that's fine. I expect that. But I think when they allow AI to do it, then it's a problem on their end too.
Yeah, that's tough, huh? Shoot. Because honestly, it could cause problems for the studios as well. Like, right? Let's say if you saw the Superman trailer, next thing you know, you saw like Brainiac come down, right? You're like, oh, this is now like my expectation for Superman is Brainiac coming in. It's going to be amazing. Exactly. You're like, oh no, we actually just got fucking the 5th version of Joker. I don't know, like something like whatever. So I could see that too, but it's a slippery slope for sure, and it's kind of dumb for like. Again, like I see AI being used as these stepping stones and like to help you like lead up to something that you want, right? Your goal. But if someone's just out there putting trailers for fun and have like no real, I guess, end goal with it, like what are you really doing?
Their goal is to make as much money as possible. They're trying to snipe it before to make money. That's definitely the thing for them.
And that's just like a kind of a shit thing. It's not like I mean, I get it. It's money, right? We all need it.
So here's the other thing. I'm going to throw another caveat for you guys. What about the actors that are not getting paid that are actually AI reimagined, put into the trailers,
that's tough.
And now they're not getting paid for these trailers? And the studio who represents them should be defending their actors because their actors get paid through the studio.
Yeah. They should be.
And we talked about that on this before too. But they should, fight that legally and defend their. Even if it's not about the money, it's your character, your body, and character what you act like or whatever. Is being used for something else that you didn't sign off for. So they could take your person from a picture and put you in a porno and ruin your.
That's happening right now.
Porno.
Yeah. That's happening. Gerard Butler. But that is something that's actually a big concern, Jonathan. You're right. That's happening right now, and it's becoming dangerous.
Reputations.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's pretty messed up. And nothing's going to change until we have laws against it and actually, take them seriously.
They're afraid to enact laws, though, because as soon as we put a law in, there's another country that will not put that law in. And then suddenly, like these guys, example, they're from India. So nothing that we could do stop them on that front. We have to go through YouTube, the platform that they're publishing on, to stop them. And so you're not even able to like physically put a law in to stop that. It's really difficult.
Yeah, I think that one you definitely defend the actors. Right? Yeah. This is just like I'd say you're a trust and you're building this franchise with them or something like that, and that's not really right? But what happens when you get like, say, I can't think of obviously like whoever produced fucking 300, right? Yeah. And you see Gerard Butler, company, whatever, but you see like, his face on Braveheart too. I mean, that company doesn't really owe Gerard Butler anything, right? I see
what you're saying. So Gerard Butler is being used to make that fake Braveheart trailer, right? So Gerard Butler should be paid for his likeness being in a trailer. Whether or not he did any work doesn't matter. It's the reason you like him as Braveheart is because you know him from something else that he worked hard on.
Yeah.
He built that representation.
But you're talking about the company defending their actors, right? But that company is like, well, we never had anything to do with Braveheart.
True.
You know?
The one that did, though, where his face was taken from.
Possible there too, but also just in general, like SAG-AFTRA, I think also needs to kind of get involved with this too in some way. And the fact that it's one thing that they're doing that, and then sure, you're right, where like there's nothing they could do for that one, but specifically for Superman, for a new Andor trailer, or whatever. Well, studio, then you need to do your job, and what you would typically see out of studios, they try to stop it because it's ruining their marketing, but instead they're not. They're like, oh, we'll just take a chunk off it. We'll tell YouTube that we are part owners of that now. They'll take a chunk off of it. They'll extra money, no heart for them, they assume, and the actors don't get paid for any of that.
Yeah, that's very shady.
Do you guys see them possibly ruining the brand too? For that Superman trailer that went viral, it showed Supergirl coming in to save the day. James Gunn said Supergirl's not in that movie. So could that hurt the movie if people are assuming Supergirl's going to be there and then disappointed when she's not?
Yeah, that goes to the example of that Brainiac, right? We're getting some super hype villain or super hype, maybe like another Justice League member, right? Like Martian, comes through, and they're like, oh shit, now we just like, oh cool, Crypto, Which I'm not saying batting that Crypto, but he's not Manhunter,
Yeah, it can do both. It could set unreal expectations, and it could undermine the value of a trailer across the board, where people don't believe trailers anymore. Like, I doubt the Superman movie's even being made. I'll wait until I see the name on the front of the theater to even know if it's actually happening. And then ticket sales go down. People aren't excited about a movie because they don't even know if it's actually coming out or if it's just been one of the thousands of fakes they saw that week.
Sometimes maybe we do need less trailers though.
Frankly, you're not wrong.
I love when I see the trailers in the theater. Man, those are the best ones are coming up soon and stuff like that. Like, those are the best. Yeah, get to the movies early.
When it's something you don't know about, you're like, oh man, I love that guy or whatever. It's like a total surprise for you. That's such a nice thing. So in the end, do you guys feel like this is just misinformation, harmless, or destructive? What do you guys think?
Oh man,
I think it can go either way. I think it can be used to be destructive. We need to put laws in there to make sure it doesn't get to that point. And in those laws, we can allow the harmless version of this to be, executed. If it's just fan art and stuff like that, it just requires that it be, like we were saying earlier, branded as such, and not used. If the person who's making it is making money off it, then that's not okay. So it should be done as fan art for fun. Not anything more than that.
I guess, definitely like highlighted. I'll be the naive guy, right? On this situation, I'll be like, well, once I find out that something's fake, then it's like, okay, move on. That was cool, whatever, like, what does it hurt, But again, like, I guess that's just like the typical person that might just be like, okay, fuck it. Well, Gerard Butler's not on a Braveheart, then I did Braveheart too. All right, now I'm going to go, I don't know, watch Braveheart 1 now because I'm on a Braveheart hype, So, like, I don't know. Yeah.
I'll be
the naive guy. Yeah.
I'll be the anal one then, because I actively report every video that I see that's a fake AI trailer. I do it every time. And for being spam and misleading. And because there has to be somebody out there. I mean, I know there's got to be other people doing this too. Just because, like, I think that it is misleading. It's telling false stories is happening right now. I think it can hurt the future of the actors. And if you guys just threw the thing on this AI trailer, which I never report anybody who says AI trailer or fan trailer, I never do, because I think those are simply for fun. And it's like when you're covering a song. If you get permission to cover a song, or if you say this is a cover of a song, I'm fine. But if you think you're going to go out there and play Smoke on the Water and actually say that that's your song, that's where I got a problem. And I think that's kind of what this boils down to, except for people are really getting convinced that these guys are playing Smoke on the Water. And so that's the thing. There's too many people getting fooled out there. And they blow up my DMs every day when a new one of these fake trailers comes out. And I'm like, no, that's fake. I mean, come on now. Green Lantern doesn't have 4 arms.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how we go from there. Let's head into our review. Jonathan, we're going to be leaning in on you. You saw Snow White.
Yes.
What did you think of the movie overall, first of all?
Overall, so I think I was very surprised at how much I liked it when the reviews that I heard from other people, or that I heard that other people were saying, was really bad. Yeah. And I think part of that is that the bar was set low, so I went in expecting it was going to be bad, and it surprised me. Usually, if I go in with a low expectation, I come out pleasantly surprised. But overall, there was very little that I had to complain with it. People were complaining about the CGI was real, poor, especially with the dwarves. I'm like, I thought it was pretty darn good. I mean, what more could you want? Golem and motion capture wasn't much better than theirs, if anything. let's see. There's the story had a lot more depth to it. That had a romance story in it instead of just the old movie. A guy kissed the girl when she was asleep, and there was no built relationship between them except for he accepts her. So that was kind of
contract
odd.
done.
made sense for the time. Like, well, I saved your life with a kiss, so we're meant to be.
It's true love's first kiss. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. But this one, the relationship was built over time. Yeah, I think to me the story was a lot better.
The music is a big part of Disney movies. Was that pretty good?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's kind of make or break it. The first couple songs weren't great. The first one especially, I remember in the theater being like, man, they got to nail the music. It's a Disney movie. But the later songs were definitely good, a lot better. And then they do a good job. Most Disney movies do, where the song really progresses the story. It's telling a lot in the story. One that was a remake of a classic song was the Whistle While You Work. Yeah. From the old Snow White. I really like that one. That was probably my favorite scene, was her with the dwarves dancing and cleaning and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. I do feel like Gal Gadot could have done a little bit better, or it could have been cast a little differently. Some of the like mouth movement when she's talking was like just a little over exaggerated and stuff. But yeah, there's got to be something that's not great about it.
That's a big through line, is her performance is being rough in this and other things.
So there's a lot of positives, and you had one negative about the Gal Gadot acting. But is there anything more that you wish that might have even different? I don't know. When was the last time you've seen the original Snow White? So I'd be really picking apart comparisons. But like, is there something that maybe that you wish you would have seen, or maybe it's just bad overall? I think
maybe one missing from the original or something like that.
Yeah, one thing is like I just want to like bring up, and maybe this like listen to this and see if maybe we need to go back to this. But let's go back to actors with like cartoons of Roger Rabbit and Mary Poppins. Like if we go to the CGI shit, like if people are like, oh,
too much CGI,
something new, but it's like, yeah, give me that shit, because I would have been okay with seeing like the old school with Rachel Zegler with the old dwarves. Like, fuck yeah. And I think one thing that I didn't like with being like comparison, because I really do love Snow White. I think it's just ultimate classic. But
there was like the animals, the CGI and the animals wasn't as good as it was with the dwarves and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it was a lot of good. The story overall was inspiring and motivating. Afterwards, I felt like I just, heard a good speaker at a conference kind of thing. The dancing and stuff in the town. If you don't like, it's a Disney movie, so it has that musical aspect where there's a lot of singing, of course. So I'm sure there's people that were just like, why are they singing songs? This is a movie or something like that. But it's Disney.
Yeah.
I really can't think of much. Oh, the dwarves were mining. It's like didn't look. They're cartoon. They're funny characters though. So their mining was like, I swing a pickaxe and all of a sudden I get a whole bunch of gems, and they're cut diamonds and they're beautiful. It's like, you could have made it that you're getting dirty rocks, but whatever.
Yeah,
comes out as ore and it has to be refined. But that's a technicality that they're a fun cartoon character, not that real. One thing I did appreciate too is that I know there was that whole controversy about the dwarves and little people and all that stuff. I think they did a good job at resolving that or being sensitive to that, where they had, not only were the dwarves, I know it's a problem the dwarves weren't acted by little people, because, that's jobs that were lost.
Yeah, it's definitely representation too, I don't want to get to it, but TV is power, and it's like, that's a community that can be heard.
Yeah, but some people were offended because the dwarves of Snow White are comical, exaggerated characters. Like, if we'd see any other race and we exaggerate their features and laugh about it on a movie, it would be offensive to a lot of people.
Exactly. You talking like the CGI ones that you just saw? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they did a good job at identifying them as cartoon characters, fictional characters. And what they did was they had one like larger supporting character was a little person that was in the Rebel Bandits. And he played a pretty big role. He actually saved Snow White at one point. And so he was a good character. And you'd see other little people in the town, and when they're doing their dances and stuff like that, there was other ones. So it was a good comparison to be able to see, hey, the dwarves aren't, actually the same as little people. They're fictional characters, so it's won't offend people. Plus, they had some people that were getting jobs.
The ones that were in the background, were there 7 of them?
No.
So it would have been like, why just 3 cast them? They're already there.
Well, but so it'd be offensive, right? If you say, you want them to be a fictional. This isn't what we're saying little people do, is go into mines and get these rocks. And
one's called Dopey, one's called Sleepy. Instead, that one's name is Ted, and he's a dentist, you fucker.
Exactly. Right? He has a wife and 3 kids, and he likes to, go fishing.
Do you feel like do you feel like this being Snow White hurt or helped the movie? As in, would it have been as good or improved or hurt if it was just a different movie altogether? You know what I'm saying? And not so tied down to this is Disney's Snow White.
To me, this movie didn't suffer from being tied to the old movie. I think the old movie was elevated by being tied to this one.
Oh, no, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I think this was way better. Maybe I'm just one person here that doesn't like the old Snow White very much. I think this was much better than the original Disney Snow White. It's
we
probably,
know how much you like Disney.
I'm probably going to get hate all over the internet for that.
Yeah.
No, I legit. I mean, it's had so much more story. Maybe I just don't remember much of the original one or something. But
there's not a lot of story to the original one, to be fair.
This develops the character. It makes you feel invested in the characters, and there's more characters to be invested in. So in the end, I mean, there's at least twice that I legit laughed in the theater. Doesn't happen a lot. Mm-hmm. And, again, I went in with low expectations. Anything will make me chuckle, I guess. And then I didn't tear up or nothing like that, but very emotional scenes a couple times. So, yeah, overall, I definitely thought it was good. I don't understand what everyone's hating against it for, but, I'd give it at least like probably 8 out of 10.
The elephant in the room, right? We got Rachel Ziegler talking shit on the original. Now Disney freaks, right? Like, come on now, we're going to be already hating that, don't talk on the OG princess, the first one, but I think that was a part of it, the huge, massive part of it. So,
well, that there's all kinds of political reasons too that both the main actresses in this movie.
Yeah, but I didn't want to get into that.
Right. I'm just saying, like, there's all kinds of different PR that's not related to the movie attached to the movie, including the debate over the dwarves. Like at one point, we had Peter Dinklage saying that there should be no dwarves. Then once that went through, like, okay, fine, no dwarves. Then they're saying, well, wait a minute, there should be dwarves because you're losing jobs. So, like, this movie I think it was in quote unquote production for like 5-6 years, unheard of. But because there was so many different changes going along the way, to hear that there's a sustainable, decent movie at the end of that process that Jonathan's telling us about is good to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I'll definitely watch it again when it's on Disney Plus. Right. I mean, no doubt to me, but if anybody hasn't seen it, I'd say go see it while it's in theaters. To me, it was definitely worth the ticket to go see it in theaters.
So out of 10, what are you thinking? Out of 10 poisoned apples, how many apples are we walking away with?
Oh, I would go with 8. 8 poisoned apples.
That is ridiculous.
Even the apple, they did such a cool thing where, it looks like this shriveled skeleton head, but then it goes back to,
that's pretty cool.
They nailed it all.
I will be seeing it. I'll be waiting for Disney Plus, but I am going to sit down and watch it because I do want to compare it to all the hate that's out there. And like one of my many things on my TikTok feed is all the Gal Gadot, acting performance and stuff. Yeah. And so see how she does and stuff like that. I'd like to see it. And there's what's her name? Ziegler? What was the first name?
Rachel
Ziegler. Mm-hmm. I hear only good things about her performance in this. I do want to see how that worked out. So 8 out of 10, guys. That's high praise. Yeah. That's good.
Maybe we can go through, we all watch it, read a bunch of the comments, pick out the, political ones and focus on the ones actually based on the movie.
Yeah.
And then talk about it again later.
That's a good idea. All right, let's head into our network news. So for Fandom Portals, they just covered Gabriel, which is a 2007 Australian movie I'd never heard of. And the budget for that thing was $200,000. Came out in 2007, right? And I think I'm going to watch this because it's all about like heaven and hell fighting in this one city. And it looks like Underworld. You remember the movie Underworld that we all watched back in the day? It's got that vibe. So check out Gabriel, guys. Check out Fandom Portals discussing it. It's a 2-part episode. They really go into it. And then coming up, they're going to be doing Marvel Month. So I might have to jump in on an episode with Aaron and Basher. Over at Anime Plus, they just did their episode talking about the seasons starting in spring 2025, all the new animes that you guys could be watching on across the different streaming platforms. Anime Plus is kicking ass. A challenge accepted, which I clearly have an affinity for. We just did The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Guys, that movie was so incredibly good, and I did not even think it was going to happen. Thomas challenged me to this thing. And have you heard about this movie? I'm just going to start there. Nicolas Cage plays Nicolas Cage. It's so good. Pedro Pascal. So Pedro Pascal is like this rich guy.
Like his worst acting is him playing himself.
It's as ridiculous as you'd want it to be for him playing Nick Cage.
Okay.
But he's Pedro Pascal. Just give you the quicker on this one. Rich guy, owns an island, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And then he's a big fan of Nick Cage. Hires Nick Cage to come out for his birthday to hang out. And then they become best friends. And
this is where that scene of them smiling in the car comes from.
Yes, it is. They're on the LSD.
Oh, yes. My God, that's the only scene we know about.
Yeah. It is a blast to watch. IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10. It probably is around there, maybe 8 out of 10. It's just a fun, chill watch. Pedro Pascal is adorable because he's such a little fanboy in it. And it's so he's like, when you see him like gruff in like The Last of Us, which is coming up again this month, And then you see him in this, he's like, "Hi, Mr. Cage." It's just so cute. Outlast podcast. We're covering Survivor over there. We might have had the best episode of Survivor or TV ever this last week. We had a really good discussion about that, all about Ava and her autism revelations. Headlines is now going to be on even more podcast platforms. Discovered that it was actually being blocked in certain nations. It's no longer being blocked in Indian nations. It's available everywhere. So check out Headlines, guys. Give it a review. And lastly, a reminder, Rancho Cordova this weekend at the City Hall, April 5th. Come hang out with us. We got a big prize wheel. We got Smash Brothers. Tyler says he's bringing out Tetris. We'll figure out what we're going to do Tetris. It'll be a lot of fun, guys. We're going to have the Geek Box. We're asking everybody Geek Box questions, and you get to be on the podcast yourself answering your Geek Box question. That's how you're going to spin that wheel. We're going to get something from you.
What's a good time to come out? When does that
it
start?
is from 10 to 5, so come out in between there. Last year was their first year doing it. This year they have way more marketing going on, but last year was the first year. The first 2 hours were crazy busy. So if you want to go when it's not so busy, I'd go after lunch. But be aware, like for us, we have a lot of prizes. Some of those prizes might be gone by the time that happens. So just kind of keep that in mind, because I don't want to brag like that, but we were the hot item last year.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, we were. And so we were just throwing prizes out the window at a certain point. Crazy. Yeah. So come check out this. All right. Lastly, let's end with our recommendations of the week. Squeaks, let's start with you, man.
Yeah, definitely. So, which I haven't had a chance to actually follow up with you on this, but my recommendation is obviously going to be the new Hunger Games book, Sunrise on the Reaping.
Yes.
Man, I don't know about you. I'm a little over halfway now. I think somewhere.
You are so much farther than me. I'll just tell you that much.
Oh, man. I'm somewhere in the chapter 16 area.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Man, I have not been so in love with the book since, I'm going to say it, the Harry Potter days. Like, it's so
that's pretty good. I love all the chapter. Yeah, I love all the Hunger Game books. They build with like very little words in some weird way. They build such a quick world around you. And luckily he's from District 12 again, so you already know the District 12 stuff.
Yeah.
And Michigan. And so it's, I'm very early on, but I'm immediately in on it. And so, yeah, that's cool.
I'm talking every chapter has something going on. And that's then cool. Even if like old characters that we've seen in the movies kind of like come back and play their roles in like the younger, like their beginning stages of them. And the book is so phenomenal. Love it. Yeah.
What is the name of it again? So everybody can go pick it up.
Sunrise on the Reaping.
Sunrise on the Reaping. Just by the way, part of that buy two get one free. That was part of that sale too.
Man, you really fucked me up.
Well, I didn't get it during that sale. I know I didn't get it during that sale, so I was like, "Son of a gun! I just bought this book already." Jonathan, what about you? What's your recommendation for the week?
I got two, so I'm gonna be rewatching Andor before the new season comes out. So definitely, you gotta try to binge that just to be ready for it. So, I forget so much. Also, Saga issue 72 just came out, and Saga, the comic series, super sporadic. It's hard to keep up with when new issues are coming out, and this is the last one they have scheduled, posted. So it might be a while again before we get another one. So now's a good time to get caught up if you haven't read the most recent ones.
Always a banger.
I'm loving that series.
I had talked before about DC's releasing smaller versions of the comics. Squeaks are now on board with this. Marvel, I just discovered, is also doing the same now. So they are, I don't want to say smaller version. They're like trade backs or graphic novels, but they are novel physical size, like a novel or a book. And they are way easier to read, in my opinion. They're great for next to your bed, next to your TV. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm like, I want to watch something in the living room, but I don't want to pay attention to it. So I'll put on something I've seen 1.5 billion times, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'll read or I'll read a comic book's really good on TikTok or whatever. It's perfect for that. So I got Batman Quarter Owls right now, but I got Hush coming in, Batman Hush coming in, and I got Daredevil Born Again coming in because I am now all about Daredevil. And so I'm so excited to read into that. And that's the Frank Miller. So check that out, guys. The Marvel version it just started coming out in January. It's called Marvel Premiere. And they're like $10 books for 400 pages. Your favorite Marvel characters. And I also got the Black Panther one too coming in. And so that'll be really cool too. Check this out. Well, that is it for us this week, guys. Hang out with us next week at the convention. We'll see you guys there. Bye.